Welcome to the 30-Minute Solution. I'm Martin Bissett and I get the honour of starting this course with you. And this very first episode is critical to get right because without it, none of the rest of it works. Now, many years ago you may have heard of somebody called Simon Sinek, who was a consultant and a TED speaker and generally a guru in personality. And he wrote a book called Start with Why. And that led to Find Your Why and Leaders Eat Last and all kinds of others. But the central premise of Start with Why, which was the book that really made him famous, was that there was a golden circle. And this golden circle had the how, the what, and the why. So in the outer circle, the how you do something, what you do, and then the why in the middle. And the why, Simon suggested, was the motivation for everything. Now, so many of us go through our businesses never knowing why we do it other than to feather our own nest. You know, we get our qualifications, work for somebody, get tired of working for somebody, work for ourselves, and never quite once stop to think, beyond paying the bills, beyond trying to get my pension pot to a certain level, what am I doing this for? And all these years, these 23 years of working with accounting firms, big and small, all around the world, on 5 continents and 40 more countries, has taught us over and over again that the firms who have a clear purpose, a clear passion, a clear reason for doing what they do beyond the money, they're the ones that become not only the most successful, but leave the most powerful and enduring legacies as well. So in this session, we need to find your why. To help you find your why, I'll go first, because this isn't theory. This is not stuff we've read in a book and now giving back to you. This is what we have done, Femke and I, at the coal face, at the sharp end, with the clients themselves. So we have to walk our talk. We can't just tell you what to do with no proof that we ever did it ourselves. So, while you're thinking of your why, I'll start with mine. Now, 2 things you need to know about me straight away that aren't part of the professional qualifications that you see on the wall behind you, is that I have had the privilege to do these things because I've been broadcasting a certain message that connects with a lot of people around the world. And it's simply this. I am the son of a business owner who was very successful. When he started his business, it grew and grew and grew. And my earliest memories of being somewhere in a middle class sort of style home. We weren't necessarily rich, but we were comfortable. And over time, what happened was that as this business grew, my father fell into a trap that so many of us fall into as owner-managed businesses, which is that he was very good at what he did, but he was not financially literate. So he was not necessarily very good at running a business doing what he did. And a P&L or a balance sheet or a forecast or a budget or a projection, all these things were a little bit of a strange dark art and science. So as he grew and as things became more complex, he didn't have the right help or support to navigate him through those areas of unfamiliarity. In those days, accountants were actively regulated against being proactive, and there was no support for the owner-managed business. We filmed this on just approaching the 9th anniversary of my father's passing, and his passing can be traced back to through a series of events that started with his business failing due to his lack of financial literacy, I should say. Now, as a child, I went through this process of knowing that something was wrong, but not knowing what was wrong or being able to fix it. So I was the kid who went to school with a knot in his stomach because mum and dad had been arguing over the breakfast table about money because neither of them had money and neither of them understood money. And I was the kid who had to work out why we couldn't replace something in the house when it was broken and why we had to go without for the first time ever and why we had to wear trousers that had holes in them and why we had no car and why. And these made no sense to the child's mind. No sense at all. What was going on was that somebody was struggling in business because they didn't have the support and could no longer provide at the same level. Now, you've either been there or you know someone who's been there. Let's fast forward to now. And I'm a business owner myself, and guess what? I fell into the exact same trap. You would think I would have learned from this experience, but I didn't. I went back into the exact same trap. I had a business that was growing, and I was very competent in what I did, but not necessarily great at running a business. But what changed was that my accountant reached out. My accountant was proactive. My accountant was not prepared to see me go to the wall, and gave me the support morally, emotionally, and the support technically that I needed, the education, to set the business elements, so the financial elements of my business up, so that there was pots for everything. There was never a tax bill that was a surprise. There was never a tax bill that fell due that I couldn't pay. The reserve was there. So whether it's a pot for my drawings as a director, or a pot and an account for my tax liabilities, or cash reserves in case we encounter a global pandemic suddenly and things have to change, all of which have come true, I was prepared. And that brought me financial peace of mind. And my role, my why in my professional career is, how great would it be to be able to reach as many people as possible, to inspire them, the accountants, to go and help their clients, so that them, not me, brings financial peace of mind to the lives of those business owners. And of course, many of those business owners have got families, haven't they, as well? So financial peace of mind equals a greater harmony in the home, a greater domestic situation, and a lot fewer houses that have to be moved out of because we can no longer afford the mortgage payments. So can you see the good that you do? This is a very, very major why, but I'm not asking you to adopt that one. That's mine. Mine is to bring financial peace of mind to business owners via you, the accountants, because you're the ones who can do it. Now, what's yours? It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't even have to be related to that. You might be wanting to leave some sort of legacy. You might want to see your family have a certain future mapped out for them. It doesn't matter. It only matters that you've got your why. And sometimes we struggle to work it out. What really does influence me? What really does matter to me? So start writing it down. What really does matter to you? If I take away your business, do you care? If I say you have to live on half of what you currently live on, do you care? If I say you have to make your team redundant, do you care? If I take your clients away from you, do you care? If I take your home away from you, do you care? What matters to you, and what are you in business to achieve? Because once you know that, all of a sudden you'll experience a momentum and a drive that you've never experienced before. And then you start telling other people if you want to. Some of us, we keep it to ourselves. Others of us broadcast it because we want other people to buy into what we're doing. That one's up to you. But you need to find your why. And in this 30-minute solution, every time we do a lesson and teach you a principle like this, we give you an assignment. Here's your assignment for today. Your assignment for today is, guess what? Find your why in a sentence. So start working it out, whether it's notes you make on your tablets or on your laptop or on a piece of paper or just in your head, or a conversation you have with someone. And so it gets you to talk about it and express what you're really about, and you can actually verbalize these thoughts. It doesn't really matter how you go about it, but work out what's important to you and get it down to a single sentence. The reason why you, an accountant, a technical professional, has spent 4 years being qualified and is now in practice or is running their own practice or whatever it happens to be, whatever circumstance you're in, the reason for all of this beyond making money for yourself is, and I'll leave the rest up to you, because once we find that, we've found our why. And once we've got our why, we can move on to the rest of the 30-minute solution. It's going to get to you to where you want to be in terms of your goals, your dreams, your targets. Ready for the journey? Let's go. See you on the next one.